Hi everyone, welcome to my three-part series for why you can't stop craving sugar. It's those pesky sugar cravings that has a handle on so many of us. And I want you to know and understand the reason why they're happening and maybe what you can do about it. That's why I made it a three-part series, because it is a little more of a complex issue than what we've probably been taught over the years. And I don't want there to be any confusion. So I wanted to break it up into three parts so you can better understand how this works. So before I get started, I just wanted to mention that I created a workbook for you, and I have posted it in the comments below so you can download it. And the purpose of the workbook is basically so you can use this as a reference point as you go along throughout the three-part series. You can also use the fill in the blanks so you can come back to and review some of the concepts that I have in my three-part series. So you can always reference it and have a good idea and remember what we talked about. And there's also one of my favorite sections called the reflection section within the workbook. And it basically is a place for you to input your personal feelings, lifestyle, thoughts, mindset, etc., based on your lifestyle alone, and also something to be mindful of. So, okay, let's get started. Well, one thing I want you to know first and foremost is what sugar cravings are not. And they are definitely not about willpower, and it's not about self-discipline. Sugar cravings, that is a biological reaction that's happening in the body. It's nothing to do with your lack of discipline. So I want you to know and understand that right now. And very briefly, what I want to do, just so you understand this a little bit better, is I want to describe the blood sugar cycle for you. So some of you may know this, maybe this is a good review for you, but others may not. So just so you know, whenever you take in food, especially when you take in sugary foods or highly processed carbohydrates like crackers, cookies, pastas, etc., your body releases a hormone called insulin. Insulin is what is necessary for you to utilize the glucose, because the glucose is what was created from the sugar that you just ate. That's the broken down byproduct, glucose, of the food that you just ate. And in order, because we need sugar for energy in the form of glucose, in order to get that in the cell, you have to have insulin available. So the amazing body does this great thing by releasing the hormone insulin so it can actually walk glucose into the cell so you have energy. Energy to think, energy to move, energy to function. And when these things don't happen, when the energy does not get into the cell, then that's where you come up with issues. And there's a reason for why you're not getting energy into the cell, and we'll go into that into more detail as well. But when you take in food, sometimes if you take in too much or you take in a lot of sugar, a lot of carbohydrates, the body again is very good at reacting, and sometimes it reacts to this high amount of sugar or carbohydrates, and it'll release a lot of insulin, and very quickly it can reduce the insulin and it causes a spike. This spike also can quickly go down very quickly, and your body's trying to recover. When the blood sugar drops super fast, the body is going into kind of an emergency state where it's thinking it needs energy and sugar fast. And that is why your body releases a hormone. It's your hunger hormone, and it's telling you it needs sugar, it needs fuel fast. This is where the cycle begins. It's a roller coaster. You spike, you crash, you crave, and then repeat. Spike, crash, crave, repeat. And you'll find this in your workbook. That is one of the fill in the blanks that I want you to write down, because again, this is a biological issue, a biological cycle that is happening. It's the blood sugar roller coaster. So going back to that same concept that it's not you, it is your biology working. For example, whenever you breathe in some germs, maybe you there's a cold virus that you took in somehow, you don't think about getting rid of the virus. You may not even know, more than likely, that you took in this virus. You're just going about your day. Your body knows, and your body is the one that sends signals to handle the virus so you can go about your day. The same thing happens whenever you have a blood sugar spike. Your body knows what to do. It's reacting to what was taken in. So I want to tell you a personal story of mine, and it kind of relates to what we're talking about. And when I was first learning about all of the health concepts in college, I got a degree in exercise science, and I worked as a personal trainer. And one of the biggest concepts that they were trying to hone in and teach us was that fat was the enemy. That eating fat is what caused us to be fat. And the ironic thing is that your brain is comprised mostly of fat. It is 60% fat. And so it's quite crazy to even think that I even graduated from college based on the way I ate. When there was the fat-free era, it was a major storm of fat-free foods being available. They took out all of the fat in the foods and replaced it with sugar. So you could imagine the impact this had on so many people's blood sugar. Knowing now what you know, how when you take in a lot of sugar, how it could cause an insulin spike and then a quick crash to follow. What happened to me is I lost my period. My hormones were all out of control. I couldn't concentrate. I had to take a nap every afternoon after lunch. I was craving more carbs, and I was eating basically every 2 to 3 hours. If you remember also, we were also taught that in order to keep your metabolism high, you needed to eat every 2 to 3 hours. So to me, I was like, well, time to eat. Where's some carbs? I need to keep my fat-free carbs coming in so my metabolism's high. I was basically doing that roller coaster 6 times a day since I was eating every 2 to 3 hours. And my body was just trying to give me a signal, tell me something wrong is going on, and I was just reading the wrong cues, and maybe you are too. And so that is why I wanted to go through some things about why you are having sugar cravings. And if you go into the workbook, again, in the reflection section on the first part of the series, there's a place where you can write down what you thought was causing your blood sugar roller coaster before you started watching this. Did you think it was just a lack of willpower? Did you think it was because of the way you ate? Did you think it was because you just didn't have any self-discipline, or you didn't plan very well? These are all common things, I think, that keep us stuck in that roller coaster, and the fact that we're not doing much to fix. But now you are going to learn how to notice these signals and how to respond in a different way so it works for you and you don't have those sugar cravings. So in part 2, I'm going to show you how sugar cravings show up in other areas of your life, because it's not just about the cravings. It could show up with your energy, with your mood. It could affect your sleep, and it definitely affects your hormones. And I want to show you, especially for women over 40, how impactful this can be if you get this concept and get it figured out, because this is the information that helps us move the needle in the right direction. So I hope you show up for the next 2 video series. In episode 2, we'll go over just that, how cravings show up. And I also wanted to remind you that I also offer a blood sugar clarity assessment call where you're very free to schedule that with me. We talk specifically about you and your health issues and maybe things you want to talk about specific to you. It's a free call. It's 30 to 45 minutes of just going over stuff about you. I'd love to talk to you. If you feel like that's something you're called to do, please, I will link it in the comments also, and you can find that there. So thank you for watching. Again, please subscribe to my channel so you can go on and get episode 2 and number 3, and I hope to see you there.